Hello, everybody. Welcome to Confessions of a Rock and Roll Wifey. I'm Rhea. Hi. Nice to see and talk to all of you guys again. This is Confessions of a Rock and Roll Wifey. And please, if you like anything that we're doing here, like it, follow us on Spotify, YouTube, subscribe, share it, do all those things. Please comment, even if it's just a smiley face. We have to fight the algorithm.
That's right.
Together we can do this. So today I have somebody here with me, a gentleman by the name of Shane, Mr. Burn Run, who is making some of the coolest shit I've heard in a while here in San Diego. It is actually really, really cool. I love it.
You introduced me that we haven't known each other for
20 years.
20 years.
Well,
when we were 10.
Right? Oh, yeah.
On the playground.
Because we're like 30 right now. Totally.
Yeah.
So basically, we are here to talk about music that you're making.
Awesome.
And to introduce you to people who don't know you.
Cool.
And hopefully we can expose your music to some people, even one.
Yeah, even if it's just one
that
digs it.
Seriously, because I've been listening to it and I freaking will listen to that. You know what I mean? Like, I will literally listen to that in my car and rock out to it.
It's the first time I've made I had a project or in a genre that my mom would listen to and kids will listen to.
Yeah.
Everybody in between. So
absolutely. And you literally, you've lived through the 80s, you've lived through the 90s, you've lived through the 2000s, and you are even incorporating a lot of things from today's music, and it's all just coming from you.
I'm glad that's what you get from it, because that's to the T what I tried to aim for was taking sort of that old, the nostalgic influences from 80s, 90s, all that shit. Stuff that we love and grew up on, but I wanted to make it modern sounding. I wanted it to, somebody that heard it today go that sounds fresh and cool and new, but it still has all those nuances that people love from, the retro shit that is still, recycles and is popular. So that is precisely the description of how, when I, aimed for this project, what I wanted it to sound like. So
good.
That's
awesome. Yes, you conveyed it beautifully. Definitely. And it's so great to see somebody who is an artist that has been an artist for so long, yet was dormant.
Right.
You literally were dormant.
A long time. I was in a cave
and I don't know, you got some sort of fire, some burn running.
So hence the name.
And you just decided to come out of your shell and create some cool shit.
Okay, so I'll tell you why, right? COVID, I mean, that a lot of people got into themselves and grew and I don't know, we had time to just reflect and figure out what the fuck was wrong with us at the time and trying to grow from it, right? Mm-hmm. And so as artists, I know you relate to this, but when you have that time on your hands, you're I was sitting on this couch with my guitar and just strumming along, and that epiphany goes why am I just singing to my fucking self?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need to just do this. If I'm gonna do something, now's the time. Yeah, now's the time. And writing songs, I think, if I think what I'm writing is decent enough to portray out there and get some feedback from it, that was the time to do it. So that's how it started. The first song started Reveal. I wrote it on my acoustic guitar, and it was in E major, just standard tuning, and I wrote a pretty little verse and chorus to it. Well, what I thought was going to be the chorus to it, and a nice little acoustic guitar piece. But I'm sitting with myself, and the other part of that epiphany was okay, if I'm going to do this, I can't write songs the way I used to on my acoustic guitar. Mm-hmm. It's a very antiquated, old school way of, nobody listens to somebody just playing their acoustic guitar unless it's folky,
Yeah, it has its
coffee shop
niche.
style. Yeah, right. Like that's not what I wanted to do. So I wanted like what you described earlier, that modern sort of, with a retro feel. That's what I wanted to do. So I was writing songs on my acoustic guitar, trying to think like, how am I going to change this into something that, the vibe I want. And luckily, I have good friends and talented friends that I knew right where to go. A friend of mine from here, we met in San Diego a long time ago, S.J. Jones, who's a really talented producer.
She's phenomenal.
Songwriter. And, I'm seeing her doing her thing, and I'm just like, go girl with what she's doing. I mean, she's such a talented songwriter. And then I've seen her just kind of grow from a producer standpoint. She's mixing with some really, really talented people.
She sure is.
Yeah.
I've looked her up too, because even though I know about her band, like I wanted to go and delve into it a little bit, and so I did.
Yeah,
it's really good.
She's recorded and produced and sung, done a long song with some huge people. So that's who I saw, like that's who I could see developing a sound that I hear in my head and feel, So. And yeah, I took that pretty little acoustic song, and we immediately tuned it down, picked up the electric guitar, tuned down, dropped, I think we were in C minor to kind of fit my range a little bit better. And we made Reveal out of an acoustic song. So that sort of set the tone of where the Burn Run vibe and sound started. And we're just slowly evolving from there. So it's turning into something that, I've always wanted to do, coming from metal roots.
Yeah.
That, you remember me from.
Yeah, I do. That's kind of where the dormant comment came from, is because, I mean, this is literally 20 years in the making. And when you started, when I met you, should I say, because I know you were already going when I met you. You were the singer for a band called Ring Underground. Mm-hmm. And you were a little bit emo before emo was a thing. It was gothy, but yet metal. The clothes you wore were what fishnets on your arm and
body paint and
and all that stuff. And
yeah, we were
and it was metal, but you still had the same singing kind of talent and everything, which was great. And then for the longest time, I just knew you as Shane, who played good guitar and,
started being broke in a band and being in a van with sweaty dudes all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you went and just started focusing more on your career and the real world and everything,
career,
family, everything like that. And then, now we're here and you're coming out with all this new music.
It's exciting.
And so it's surprising, but yet not, because I always wondered why you didn't do that.
Right. So that's another good point. I was dormant because I didn't really see how I could do this style, this vibe, because I knew it took a special talent and other
Timing's
people.
everything too, because right now is the perfect
100%.
time for this kind of music, with a lot of things that are out.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of pulling that retro style into the I don't know, modern pop. I guess. I hate to say pop.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is that when I listened to Atmosphere, I got a little bit of maybe orgy in there,
okay.
maybe a little bit of, but there was the whole dreamy kind of
atmospheric.
Yeah, but still super catchy, and you can dance to it and sing to it.
A little bit of catchy.
There's metal in there. And then you feel a little bit of the 90s alternative kind of thing. But then, with Reveal, because I listened to Atmosphere first.
Okay.
But with Reveal, it was kind of almost 9 Inch Nails-y in there.
I
felt.
Somebody else mentioned that.
Yeah, and then still you could see the influences of Chill Step and Pink Floyd even maybe, because how Pink Floyd does in little bit. Maybe even a little Soundgarden I heard a little there.
Don't drive.
No, but I was okay, this is super, and I love how each song from start to finish it's written structurally like a song.
Right.
And
yeah,
that sounds like,
yeah,
which is like important, I think.
Right. Yeah.
And like I could hear these songs on the radio.
Well, I mean, that's part of the goal. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, obviously, like I said before, like it's enough mainstream to that my mom likes it, you know? And enough like kind of like edgy to where like I hope it's fucking cool. Like people, you know.
Darren listened to it and he was like one of the first people when you first posted it. He listened to it before I did and he was like, I really like that stuff that he's making.
When I get feedback from people like you and Darren and like other musicians and people that I consider like professional listeners, right? Like people that have been around music, bands, you know, whether it's promotion, whether it's, you know, a musician themselves, and you get that sort of feedback, it's like, okay, I'm something here. Like, let's go with it, right?
It's like, I mean, it sounds like silly, but it's not just like the same old bullshit that people are pumping out. It's like quality.
And that's why I was dormant for so long, because the metal thing, like, I love it. Like, that's my roots, right? I still listen to metal day in, day out. But I didn't want to do that anymore, you know? I didn't want to be, I didn't want to scream anymore. I didn't want to do the growly kind of, you know, vocals. And I wanted to do something that like pulled from all my inspirations, and just sort of mold it together, you know, and put something that new and fresh out there. So yeah, that, those two songs are definitely, you know, verse chorusy, you know, have that structure.
Yeah, and did SJ help you kind of put that together?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I've had it, you know, the way I thought it was going to work, and then she's like, oh, and then she'll hear something else. And
she's
be like,
got a good ear, yeah.
And then the other part of it is peaks and valleys, right? You want to have
build ups.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like climaxes.
Right.
And,
yep. Yeah. So, but this next song, it's a little, it kind of separates a little bit from it. So I'd be interested to hear like what people think about in comparison, because it's a little bit of a diversion from the other two songs, but it's super fucking retro.
Yeah, I listened to it. Yeah, and that one we already agreed on. It was funny because Arlene and I were riding over here and we were listening to it, you know. And I'd already listened to it a few times, and I was literally pacing around going, like, who does this sound like? What is, I can't pinpoint. I'm, like, closing my eyes, picturing people on stage, like, you know. And then she said it. She was like, Depeche Mode. And I'm like, dude, you nailed it. That's kind of what it sounds like.
There's no secret. It sounds like
it sounds like you, which is great. You have a great voice.
Dave
But it's like
is definitely one of my, I don't know, I don't want to say spirit animal of vocals. Like, his range fits my range, right? And I love singing Depeche Mode shit.
Like you could be the singer for a cover band of a Depeche Mode.
I mean, that was one of the goals during my dormant stage. I had that idea, but I've covered in Ring Underground. We used to cover "It's No Good," by the way. And other Depeche Mode songs, but. So yeah, I mean, this song is like, so musically, this is what's weird about not being in a band anymore. You sort of write backwards in the studio, right? And before
lyrics first.
Well, you write, you'll have an idea, right? You have a guts idea from a guitar or whatever your instrument is. And you go into the studio, and there's all, you know, the world is the playground in the studio. And if you have a good producer or somebody that knows what the hell they're doing in there, that sort of formulates your sound of, you know, what you're going for. And you go kind of backwards rather than when you're in a band, you're in a jam, and I'm like, hey, dude, I got this riff, you know, it sounds like this. And then
you build off that.
You kind of work the traditional way, you know, from your instruments into the studio and then perfect it. This song is definitely like studio first and kind of right backwards, which was cool, easy for me because it was just like there's, you know, the song was done pretty much from a structure standpoint, and it was just like you know, my playground to just kind of lay vocals over it. And
that's always nice.
It was fun. Like we were done in a day, I think. I mean, the music was there, so it probably took a total of 2 days. In the studio, and it was just a lot of fun. One of those that, you know, when you're done, you're like, you look at each other and you're like, oh, fuck yeah.
That was cool.
that was cool.
That's awesome. So what we're talking about right now is a new song that Shane has coming out. and it's called
Love, comma, like an infection.
Yeah, Love.
The comma is important.
Like an infection. Yes.
Right.
And it's going to be dropping
October 22nd. So,
October 22nd, and it'll be on iTunes and Spotify, all streaming platforms.
Stream from, yeah.
Yes, and we are gonna hopefully be dropping this on Spotify and YouTube on the 15th. So you guys should be watching it on that day. If you're not, then it's
Check
okay.
your-
I get
yeah.
it.
Calendars.
Yeah, check your calendars, the 15th, or anytime after. But yeah, so that's going to be really cool. And I'm going to go ahead and play a couple of his songs right now. While we're on a break, we'll probably play Reveal, since that's the first one that came out.
Okay.
And maybe our second break, we'll go ahead and play Atmosphere. And then on the YouTube version, we will have a sneak peek full song
Yep.
of the new song.
Yeah.
1 week before it gets dropped.
Cool.
Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Please.
I feel so special. And you guys
You heard
should
it here
too.
first. You heard it here first. That's amazing. I am absolutely ecstatic to let people hear
Hell
that.
yeah. It's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm just checking our time here. Okay, cool. So, yes, so just to back up a little bit. So, what year did we meet?
Oh my God.
Was it like 2000?
I gotta say,
I think it
I'm
was
thinking
right
like
before I turned 21, probably,
Yeah.
because that's when I started hanging out with like Sean and Paulette and everything.
okay.
Sean
Yeah.
and I
Reviews,
have been friends since
Underground.
like 18 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
But yeah, and I
Like
met
18.
you guys because I was hanging out with Casey.
Oh, right.
Remember?
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, that was
I
right.
went to one of the shows, and
That's right.
and then that night was when I met Stony too.
Yeah.
Stoney's one of our
Rest in
friends
peace.
that she's not here now, but
Yeah.
we talked about her on the episode that I had
Oh, really?
with, I don't know if you listened to the one I did with G-Dog,
will
the
now.
September 11th. Well, we talked about, people who have passed that we know,
yeah.
like Paulette as
Right.
well as Stoney. So,
Yeah.
and she was a amazing friend to us, and
Huge supporter.
huge
of
supporter.
all
She
the
would be
scenes.
loving this shit that you're making.
Don't make me cry.
Maybe
I have a
she's
portrait of her in my
yeah,
room,
she's
so-
probably here. She's got her hand on all of it. You
I
know.
talk to her when I jam. I'm like,
Oh,
Now
oh,
you're really gonna get
I'm sorry. No, but we love her so much, and it's like all fond memories.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how does it feel? Do you feel like nervous or excited, scared?
with the
what do you
song
think?
coming out
With
and stuff?
everything,
I mean,
just with all of it.
I'm the type of person that's like, I think like 20 steps ahead before I see what's in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
So big picture wise, like I'm like, this is what I want to do, but I just don't know how to fucking get there all the time, right? And I think everybody has that sort of
Mm-hmm.
challenge with whatever it is that they're, involved in, creatively or just, in your day-to-day life. And so it's a test, right? I mean, it's like, this is where I want it to go, and I know that I need people outside of just myself and like going into the studio with SJ to take this to the next level. So on that note, I'm actually going to use your platform to say I want to take this project live. We're straight up, we're a studio project right now. That's it. So I would love to take this live. I am looking for probably one kind of special person to team up with and partner with on this project as someone that could like do keyboards and vocals, preferably female vocals, just to kind of pair that with the vibe. So, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But that's when you ask about like, am I excited? Like that's what kind of next level. What I'm excited for is.
Is it kind of more just like ideas with butterflies that kind of feel like you don't know where to start, but yet it's still it's happening?
Find the right person.
Yeah.
When I started this, and I'm thinking about like, do I start with a band or do I develop songs first and kind of work that way? You gotta have a band to play live, right? But at the same time, it's like I don't want to be in a band and have all these competing ideas of like what we are,
Well, yeah, because it is your vision, and
Right.
sometimes as an artist, you really do just need people who are going to be there to make your vision
A little
come to
strong-
fruition.
yeah, right.
Which sounds bad when you say it like, I just want people there to do what I want them to do, right?
That's not the case.
No,
yeah.
but yet
it's
you,
like, this
but
is
yet
the
you do.
foundation, and we're gonna kind of
You
work
like
it.
ideas, and you
Yeah.
definitely want to. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
Sounds good. You like ideas, but it's like you still want somebody who's on that same track as you, with the same mindset
Oh,
of
yeah.
what you want
So
out of it.
using Depeche Mode as like a model, right? What I'm looking for is, I always say my Martina Gore. If I'm gonna, so Martin Gore is sort of the music brains of Depeche Mode and keyboards and guitars, and I need that element of like, if we're talking about a modern sound, I need keys, I need synth, I need like a live production
Yeah.
master on stage, and female vocals would be amazing. You compare that with, so Martina
Yeah.
Gore is out there. Please contact me.
Find Shane.
If you like the songs.
We're putting this
I wanna
into the
co-write-
universe.
Yeah, I want to co-write with somebody that has feels the same sort of vibe and can take it to the next
Yeah.
level. So
Absolutely, and somebody who can follow through and who's serious
Right.
about it too,
Yeah.
because
Yep.
that's hard. That's the hard part sometimes too. Is no matter how talented you are, if you don't have that drive, if you don't have that thing inside of you that's willing to,
Right.
just
Yeah.
make it happen and
Right.
take that step.
it's tough.
Things
We
can
have-
feel overwhelming sometimes, and sometimes no matter how much you want to do it, it's the action that's going to make
Yeah.
it happen, and so that's half
Especially-
the battle.
Especially in the creative world, whether you're a painter or whatever it is creative wise, there's just, the only motivation is in your heart and mind. And
Absolutely.
It's certainly not money.
Yeah,
that's,
no.
Going to get you
No,
there.
no, not at all. Honestly, it's gonna be like
A sacrifice.
a lot of sacrifice,
Yeah.
a lot of work, a lot of, and that's what I try to think about with all this stuff with Darren, because like
He's doing it, man.
we've had to, we just decided like, this
Yeah.
is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to
Fucking
do.
love
And no matter if I have to be at home with the kids,
Right.
like working my butt off, broke or whatever, because he's not bringing in money, or whatever,
Not yet.
but we, not
They're
yet, but you
hustling.
never know. They are
Yeah.
hustling, and
Yeah.
it's all about exposure. It's all about a platform, like you
Yeah.
said. And I've always
And it
believed
takes time.
that if he had that he could be,
Dude,
you know.
he's so freaking talented.
Exactly. But honestly, I'm telling you right now, straight from my heart, I feel like if you had the platform, you could do it.
Thank
And
you.
it's really good. So when you guys hear these
that's the
songs, you're
20
going to
steps
believe it.
that
Yeah.
I see, we all see that at
Well,
the
yeah,
end.
and maybe once you find your Martina,
Right.
you can start touring, and you can,
Right.
people can start hearing it.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, with the way you're doing it, putting music out and everything, once you start playing in front of
Right.
people, they'll have stuff to listen to. That I
It's
know.
already there,
Yeah.
right? There's
when I
something
find
to
a new
gravitate
artist,
to.
I listen to or a song of theirs. I will literally go look for other things.
Yeah.
And
That's
if
the
it's not
professional
there,
listener vibe
then
of
it's
it.
like,
Yeah.
okay, well, shoot, I wish there was more stuff. So the content is huge even before people
Yes. Yeah.
discover you, I guess.
Yeah, that's that's the modern listener today, right? Like,
Yes.
we find something we like and we go to the rabbit hole and oh my God, look at this, look at this, look at this. Rather than, and that's what you want. You want those people to gravitate to your stuff, rather than the passive, like, oh, I listened to 15 seconds and skip and
Yeah.
skip. Oh, I love this beat, and then I skip.
I
it.
truly believe in frequencies.
Yeah.
And like the power of frequencies and different frequencies to help different things and to
Yeah.
hurt different things. Like I
Right.
fully believe in it. We listen to like happiness frequency in the morning at my house and stuff like
Okay.
that, like so that the kids will have a good day at school, like
Let's
while
dig
I'm
in on
getting
that.
ready, stuff like
Okay.
that. But I feel like the reason why a lot of the kind of like chill step, like frequency type music is like kind of big right now with
Yeah.
a lot of people is that a lot of times like the vibe, well, I believe nowadays that the vibe is kind of being lifted a little higher
Like
with a
that.
lot of people.
Yeah.
And so music
We were
that has
low
a
for,
good,
like, a long time.
yeah,
Yeah. There was
seriously.
like, a big, especially as COVID sort of took over. And
Yeah.
we were sort of coming out of that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And Your music, I feel, has a frequency
Thank
a little
you.
bit.
Yeah. There's I mean, so on that note, from like a lyrical perspective and songwriting perspective, that I think most of my writing kind of is in that same vibe where like you feel the despair, you feel the shittiness of whatever it is you're going through, but you kind of like at the end of the day, at the end of a song, I try to resolve it, you know, with some sort of speck of hope or whatever. Sometimes there's some songs where it's just like, no, fuck it.
You know what? Yeah. Sometimes when you're not in a good mood, you want to hear something that's not like
so
as
Love Like an Infection is sort of like
it's
that.
a little bit like that. It's kind of like,
but there's still growth.
broody.
There's still there's still like it's still empowerment, because there's empowerment in that where you know things aren't going right and you're cutting it
Absolutely.
off out of your that negative vibe, and you're like, okay, I gotta
whether you're in it or
Right.
whether you're coming out of it, it's
vibrate at a different
therapeutic
level.
Yeah, I freaking love it. And definitely when we take a break, which I think we'll probably go ahead and take a break right now.
Okay.
And we will play
us out.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll play Reveal
Okay.
right now. And you can go ahead and take us out with that if you want. Just say...
Like, sing it? Oh, okay. I'm like,
Sing it.
acapella style? You want so... Yeah.
This is Confessions of a Rock and Roll Wifey. You're listening to Burn Run.
Burn Run. Reveal.
Reveal.
Playtime 3 minutes and 33 seconds.
In case they want to skip forward or something. 333? I love that number.
It's something in there. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I could be just fucking with it.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
we're going to take a break, and here's the
Turn it up.
song. Turn it up loud.
Despite the smile you see, there's a sadness I know. We all have a place to be and nowhere to go. Nowhere. There's a place inside our minds where we leave our dreams. Someday we may find they're never what they seem, they're never wrong. Tell us something, can you reveal? Give us something to help us feel again. Tell us something lucid and real. Give us something to help us feel again. You'll see when you close your eyes a vision so clear, in contrast through the light. We see you up here, we see you. There's a place inside our minds where we leave our dreams. Someday we may find they're never what they seem, they're never wrong. Tell us something, can you reveal? Give us something to help us feel again. Tell us something lucid and real. Give us something to help us feel again.
Welcome back to Confessions of a Rock and Roll Wifey. I'm going to have to come up with an abbreviation for that.
Yeah.
Confession of R&R.
I'm just feel honored because I'm not even a wifey. I don't know.
Oh my
I made it on the
God.
show.
You know how? It's because, honestly, when I came up with the name for the podcast, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do it about,
like
really,
it.
very
cool.
much.
Yeah.
Like, really, it was going to be kind of just my kind of blog
Right.
type thing where I talk about
We gotta
shit,
develop a
you know,
persona.
because I needed like an outlet, you know,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then I was like, you know, I'm going to start including like my,
Oh, for
you
sure.
know,
Yeah, you gotta-
people.
you
And
gotta
I just
expand on
really,
topics and stuff.
yeah. And when you have ideas, you kind of just have to like go with them,
We have
kind of
a-
like
we
what
have
we
a
were
guest.
talking about. Kind of like how, you know, you just sat here with a little melody. And
Right.
that's how this all started. You
I
know,
mean-
you just have to, it all starts somewhere, you know, and it literally starts with an idea.
Yep.
And the moment you put into action, I mean, so
little-
many good things can
A
happen.
little light bulb goes off.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just take that first step.
Yeah.
And run with it.
Yeah, so we were talking a little bit about like the songwriting process and everything like that. And I know you said you had reached out to a good friend of yours, SJ.
Yeah.
And her band is We Are Pigs.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just Pigs Band though, right? And they
well,
put We Are in
well,
like the parentheses,
She had
or
some
is
naming,
it?
I think she had some naming issues. That
Oh.
so she had to kind of like, you know, because Pigs is very general and to search for that. And, you know, so it got a little muddy, but she got it worked out.
Right.
So when we did Reveal and I had to like have her as a feature artist, it was kind of right in the middle of you know, where her name changed.
Oh,
sort of.
okay.
So we had to make sure, you know, with all the platforms and stuff, you had to, you know, make sure that they link them up.
Right.
To the right artists and stuff. So that got all ironed out, and the reason, I mean, the reason why you want to do features and collaborations, obviously, is to you know, just kind of gain a bigger audience, right? So.
Is that what she does though? Like, does she sing a lot on hers? Because I've
She's
seen
super
on some of her
smart
songs she
about
has
the way-
some,
Yeah.
but
well,
but then some she'll have other singers and her
for
band.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, she's dialed up Morgan from
Kitty?
Yeah, exactly.
I loved that song. Is
right?
It's called Moot?
Yes, yeah.
It's really
fucking
good.
heavy, right?
I love it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the, you know, the way you grow organically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is through those channels of, you know, stuff that you love, other influences and things like that. And she's been really, you know, entrepreneurial, really, in that manner of kind of gaining that organic audience to her stuff.
Yeah.
Through,
She's got a lot of followers on her
hey,
YouTube.
man, she's fucking talented. She's
Yeah,
a rock
she
star.
is. She really
She's a
is.
legit rock star.
Like, I listened to that Pulse Queen.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that
That's
is
the
so
jam.
sick.
Yeah, that's the jam.
And
You
it
guys check all of that shit
has
out,
like a
seriously.
little bit of like a Deftones-y
Yeah. Oh yeah.
thing to
So
it.
yeah, you picked up on that.
Yes.
Yeah, you should watch her. She has I think a YouTube about recording that song, and specifically mentions that because you hear it right away in the,
Oh, okay.
in the first drum beat. But yeah, I mean that tails right into what, you know, the vibe of Burn Run. How, you know, the first question she asks is like, okay, what are your influences? What do you want this to sound like? And kind of the vibe I was explaining about, you know, Depeche Mode. So really, I want to give you guys the secret sauce here about the vibe.
I'm excited.
I had three influences in mind on the Burn Run vibe, and people will probably be surprised by one of them. But Depeche Mode is the obvious one. Deftones is probably the other one with because I wanted to.
Oh, I know you've always been into Deftones.
Well, yeah. I mean, you talked about emo. You know,
They're
like,
great.
She knows. Yeah, he's the shit. So yeah, those two kind of meshed into one. And when you hear, you know, Depeche or Deftones cover like Duran Duran or something with Sade and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, you know, that's the vibe I want to put.
Oh yeah, because
you know what I
Sade was like one of the first that did that whole like dreamy thing.
Oh my God.
That
yeah,
you know.
Absolutely, Lovers Rock. Forget about it. But yeah, so that's sort of where I wanted to tail into that more mellow vibe, but to make it more modern. The other one is Fantagram. And if anybody out there listens to Fantagram, they can maybe pick up on some of the beats or just sonic vibe of what, you know, we're going after. And it kind of just makes, you know, gives it that modern feel. So those are the three, I think, biggest influences for this style. You know, musically as a songwriter, I could probably take up the rest of our time on the show to list the influences and, you know, style being, you know, from Sabbath to, you know,
well, yeah, I mean, literally, like, not even kidding. I even heard like some punk in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's literally, and then you literally
That's
have,
my heavy
yeah,
hand.
and then you know, in Reveal, there's a scream, a metal scream.
So there
was that
part,
SJ?
Yeah, there was that part leading into that breakdown where, so usually our process is go in and I'll lay down vocals after, you know, all the music and stuff is done. I'll lay down vocals and then we'll kind of listen to it for a night and come back in and just, you know, do our tweaks and other layers. But I heard, I mean, right before that break into that kind of like cool beat, I was like, SJ, there's a fucking SJ scream right here. Like, here you go, right? And she's like, okay. So that was what made it, you know, feature Reorbit, right? So that was, you know, literally her. But if you listen close, and this is why I need female vocals in the next element of Burn Run, is she's got backing vocals back there, you know, and that's what makes those choruses kind of stand out and get really big and amplified. So, you know, as I kind of hear the next types of songs, I want to have a lead female vocals on some songs, and I kind of do some of the backups, or play a little more guitar because I'm a terrible guitar and sing. I can't sing and play at the same time very well, right? So I want to like kind of play off, you know, another, you know, equal songwriter and vocalist. So
was that all? So for that one, for Reveal, was it her and her band?
No, well, I mean, her...
Or what is... Yeah, I'm trying to understand. I know, right? Well, I know... The reason why I'm asking is she just puts it all together with the sounds and everything like that. And, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Don't tell me too many of the secrets. I'm just curious,
I can't even tell any other people's secrets, you know? I'm not
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No. Okay, well, awesome. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter how. You know, we don't need to know the recipe all the way. You know, we'll just enjoy the stew.
It is sweater weather.
It is sweater weather. You want some of those shorty balls? They're very salty and chocolatey.
I was gonna get into that. What was I gonna say? Oh, so when I talk about Burn Run, like it's a band name, right? And I'll say we or our all the time when it's obviously it's just me, right? There's no drummer, or bass player, or anything. But you know, when there is a live version of this, and you know, the next step. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I could see a DJ, a keyboardist, so that's together.
That's the element. When I was trying to get away from metal and go into, you know, that next vibe, that next kind of sound I wanted to do, that's what I wanted. I wanted somebody that knew how to do, you know, synth and keyboards and, you know, basically a live production on stage next to me.
Right? Right.
Yeah. When I was doing like Ring and the other bands Esterbrook's heard, I would always... sound guys hated me because I would this is before you could have like really good vocal effects, and even Mike Patton I saw do this, and this is what legitimized it for me, was he would use guitar pedals, right, and use an XLR into the guitar pedal, and it just totally cuts your sound down. So sound guys are like trying to boost you up, you know, and as soon as you go into one of those guitar pedals, it just like totally impedes your sound, and then you're like cupping the mic and screaming, right? And so some guy's just like, hey, make up your fucking mind, dude. You know, like, are you singing or are you screaming? But that's what I used to do, you know, to add that weird,
distorted trippy, kind of like
flange
dreamy thing,
flangy kind of distortion and reverb, and, to give it that, you know, atmosphere stuff. So if you listen to, you know, Alice in Chains back in the day, and like you were talking about Pink Floyd, I mean, they did that so well back then. In an analog manner, you know, they were innovators. So
yeah, absolutely.
Today that is much easier.
Yeah,
it's accomplished much easier.
Yeah, there's so many like technological advances that we've had to make the everyday person be able to do whatever they want, really.
But you have to have, to me, as a fan and a listener going to a live show and you see like a techno band or something like that or a DJ, it's like that's kind of fucking boring to me. Like you better have some rad visuals. So it's tricky. You gotta have a band and then that brains behind the band, you know, kind of
a little mixture of both.
Yeah, making it sound badass.
You need your what was it again?
My Martina Gore.
You need your Mike Shinoda. No.
Let's talk.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that is really cool, and it's so great when like you have like that idea of like, okay, this is the person that can help me.
It's a vision. Yeah.
You got to go with your instincts on all that.
But I'm open, you know, at this stage
Absolutely.
of it, it's like you're open to it really just matters about vibing with whom you're creating with. So, and that's why, you know, SJ was like my first step, right? I knew that was kind of the right approach, and then so we just kind of.
Did she produce all three?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then once you have more going on with other people or something like that, are you still going to be...
I mean, who knows?
You don't know. You're open for anything.
For the next song, yeah. I think for the next song after that, probably.
Well, it works really well. She knows you well enough to know, you know...
Break it, right?
Yeah, exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
At the very least, like, I don't have production skills, so in the studio, it's like, you know, forget about it. So she'll always be my... sort of Einstein behind behind the scenes.
Yeah. And I'm sure she could even help whoever it is that helps you.
The live production,
you know, which will be great.
I have some, we know a lot of the same people. I have some friends of mine about, you know, who could help in that manner.
Yeah.
You know, especially live. So.
Right on.
Yeah.
So how long has it been since you've had a band? When was it? Was Esterbrook's hurt after?
Esterbrook's was before Ring Underground.
Before Ring Underground. Oh, see, I didn't even know.
They stole me.
They stole you?
And yeah, they're still bitter about that too.
Wow.
I mean, we're all still friends, but
yeah.
Yeah. So that was the first band. I was like, you know, I don't know, fucking 20, like.
Yeah.
Out of the Navy.
You guys used to play with like Downspell all the time.
Downspell. That was with Ring. Yeah. And then I did a very short period with Downspell filling in when their second singer.
Yeah, I was about to say, were you in Downspell for a minute? But I didn't know if that was something I just made up in my head or if it really happened. Freaking.
It was many
time. Yes.
Yeah. Many beers and many moons ago. But that was more of a, you know, we were recovering from Ring Underground's, you know, falling out. Our guitarist retired, I guess you could say. And Downspell is, you know, obviously the homies. So, and they do the two singer thing. They're back, by the way. If anybody out there is
really,
they're recording. They have some new shit out. It's fucking.
Do they have original member like the? Oh yeah, couple
Wayne,
of the original
Mike
members?
came back. Wayne's obviously still singing. I think Jake's playing guitar. So yeah, it's most of the guts of the songwriting elements there. But yeah, I filled in. I was so out of my element, and that, you know, that's really, I mean, grindcore. Talk about like not trying to scream. I was like, oh my god. Yeah. But I knew it was temporary, you know, from my perspective, and they were trying to like be a little more melodic for me. You know? But at the time, speaking of, you know, friends that we've lost, Tyson was the right fit, and he was. Always alongside us in Downspell, and I was just like, dude, come on, man, you got to take this job. Like, this is not my role. And Tyson he was meant to be in that band at that time, and it was, they put down some pretty brutal shit back then. Yeah. So, yeah, that was always fun, but another rest in peace, Tyson.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he definitely, I know that he had a influence on a lot of people, because I don't think I really ever got a chance to know him. Right. But I remember when that happened.
He was just really cool, down to earth, approachable.
Right.
Just crazy. I remember meeting them. They did sort of a Jackass video, right? But it was like extreme. I mean, it was next level shit, dude. It was amazing.
Don't do this at home type stuff.
Yeah, people ended up in ICU.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, was pretty intense.
Like that was the goal. Like who could get more fucked up without dying?
Well, it wasn't jackassy. It was more like extreme sports, and then taking that to the next level. But you know, they would follow Slayer around and stuff too. They were really supportive of the
of Slayer
music too.
Nice.
They were. We had a lot of connections in that scene. So
yeah,
it was fun. Being around those.
Right
guys.
on. Well, shout out to Downspell. And hopefully we can hear some of their new stuff soon.
That could be your next podcast.
Hey, yeah.
Segueing.
Let's do it.
Wayne and Mike and Jake.
I'm ready. I'm not. It's funny because you're my only podcast in October. Because it's funny because I literally had like a few set up for this month, but just with everything going on, yeah, there you go. With everything going on and everything, I'm moving and Darren gone and all this and that. It's like I have to use my babysitters wisely. Yeah. Plus, I've been working a lot, all that stuff. But yeah, so.
Darren's on tour.
Yeah, but this will be cool. This will be my October episode, and honestly, like it's perfect timing because your song's coming out, and I really think that once everybody hears this, it's gonna be on their playlist.
Put it on there. Share it. Yep.
All right, awesome. Well, maybe I'll go ahead and just play Atmosphere right now.
Okay. Cool.
Then, so this song's called Atmosphere. This is the second one that Burn Run put out, and it is.
Do you want me to talk about?
Yeah, talk about it.
I don't know how much time you wanted me to talk.
Oh, we got plenty of time.
So, Atmosphere came about from lyrically another song about finding resolve and hope, and really it's about any relationship, two people. Even more than two people. It doesn't have to be a couple or anything like that. It could, any relationship, parents and just friends who pick each other up, and it's just one at any given moment in one person's life where they just feel down in the dumps and all hope is lost. At any point, there's just hope in your relating with one person. If you connect with one person, that you can get out of that vibe. We were talking about happy vibes.
Exactly.
It just takes that one connection sometimes. So lyrically, that's what it's about. It's about finding hope in the human connection. In
others.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's a huge thing. I mean, that's one of the biggest things, like, for instance, for people who are, like, in recovery and things like that, a way to get out of yourself is to help others, to, do service for others. It's literally...
Finding purpose.
It's literally just getting out of like your own ego, your own bullshit, and just be like helpful towards someone else, and you can literally like change your own mood and your own vibe that way. Exactly.
Yeah. And you lift each other up to new heights, right? And you can't really do that alone, right? So that's what the song kind of focuses on is and I kind of get a little, I don't know, secretive. I don't know. There's sort of secret meaning in this song too about how humans can accomplish so much because we don't even know where we're from. Like we don't know how we got here, right? But look where we are.
Yeah.
And when you feel at the end of your rope, when you feel like down in the dumps and like you haven't accomplished anything, you just got to kind of like look back and go, fundamentally, like how do I even have all this opportunity to accomplish anything, right? And sometimes it just takes a person sitting next to you and going, it's gonna be okay, you're capable of so much, don't worry about the negative stuff that is affecting you.
Even the strongest people need that sometimes.
Absolutely.
And even if it comes from a song on song
on your playlist
by Burn Run. And it will. Yeah. I mean, I work at a dispensary, and we play Spotify, and I played your music today in the dispensary.
Thank you.
And nobody knew that it was just, this kid from San Diego. They thought they were listening to some... You're welcome. You know, because it's up to par with what you would hear at playing in the dispensary, you know,
Right.
above your head, you know.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'll play Darren stuff sometimes too, and then I won't tell anybody
basically.
till after, like, oh, that was my husband or something like that, and they're like, oh wow, really? Like, oh, okay, it sounded like something I heard before. Yeah, like sounded like an actual song. Yeah, it was an actual song. But that's you know, and that's kind of like the I guess bittersweet part about you know, making such quality music when you don't have the platform, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so hard because there is a lot of really good stuff out there. So,
oh my gosh,
you know, it's just, I mean, I guess that's why I love doing this so much, is
Whenever
because
you always see,
just
like,
letting
that
people
internet
know what's out there.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever you see that internet complaint about, like, oh, there's no good music anymore, like, you know, you could just know that listener is so pigeonholed into what they used to listen to and nostalgic, and they're only stuck on that. Because, I mean, yeah, if you're on any streaming platform or whatever, you can dig deep and just, you know, just like social media, go to the next one. Oh,
Exactly.
And just go down the rabbit hole. There's so much out there. People producing from their own houses.
And honestly, like, with the way the internet is these days, I mean, I brought this up earlier, the algorithm.
Right.
It's really about just putting stuff out and putting stuff out, and you know, it really just takes that one time for somebody to hear you, to want to hear more. And you know, so these days, like, if you're talented and you're creating and you just continue to create, there's a saying, and I don't know where the saying came from, but I heard it from Denzel Washington, because he did a speech, and he's talking about how, like, he went and he tried out for Broadway when he was younger, but he's not a singer, you know what I mean? He's an actor, but he tried out for Broadway when he was young, and you know, he's been continuing to go to auditions, get turned down, continuing to just do what he does.
And learn.
And now he's Denzel Washington, right? Yeah. But he has a saying that, like, it's like, if you hang out in the barbershop long enough, sooner or later you're going to get a haircut. You know, it's going to be your fucking turn. And he to this day, like, he talks about how now he actually had the you know, a few years back, I don't really know how many, he was on Broadway. Right. And he's just he was able to get a Broadway show at that point because he was Denzel Washington, but he worked so hard. Yeah, right? I wonder how he sings. But he just did this whole full circle kind of moment with that. Right. And, you know, it's true. I think that's what's happening with Darren, too, you know, is he's been hanging out in the barbershop a long time, you know, and I mean, shit, you know, and these people in the music industry, they are looking for the next person in line. Right. Yeah. As soon as that other person gets their haircut, they're shipping them off to fucking, you know, wherever the next step is. But
you have so many
they need a next, you know, so it is hard.
Age is a thing. You gotta get over the
just gotta
ageism
continue.
Thing. You gotta get over the sexism thing in some of those.
Well, you gotta get out of your own fucking head is the thing, because a lot of those expectations and a lot of those limitations are put on by ourselves.
Right. And so
you know?
Back to great circle back. Back to atmosphere. That's exactly where you find yourself down in the dumps, where you doubt yourself. You don't have that reassurance, and you know, like I said, it just takes that one person to go pull you out of it and say, "Look, you are capable of whatever this, you know, goal is." Mm-hmm. And there, you know, there's a part in the song about saying, "Don't beat yourself up. Like, just come on.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're scared. Just keep doing it. You know, keep going." So, you know.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that when I was asking you to be on the show.
Oh, right.
Because you're like, why the fuck would anybody want to hear me talk? Right. And then he's like, oh, and a follow-up question, what the hell am I going to talk about? And I'm like,
that's
Shane,
the
you'll
next
figure it
one.
out. I'm pretty sure you just put out 2 songs, right? Like, we could talk about that. And he's just like,
Sitting on my couch. Yeah.
okay. And I'm like, so how about this Friday? And he's just like,
Go.
maybe.
Well,
and then, like, I didn't
Gave
hear
me
from
all
you.
of October while another song's coming out. So I'm like, fuck yeah.
And then
It's
he's
the
like,
perfect platform.
okay. And then he's like, still just like, you know. And then he listened to the Sam podcast and
Yes,
stuff.
Sammy, you're right.
And he's just like,
big
and then
fan.
he hits me up and he's just like, well, maybe I could do it. And I'm like, but I still don't know what I'm going to talk about.
Bitch. Like, oh my God.
Do I make you sound
No, well, no, I am. Like, just own it, right? But,
No,
but good example.
But
yeah,
I
getting
told
out of your own
him,
head.
I said, I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't think people give a shit about what the fuck I'm going to talk about either, to be honest. I'm like, but this is something I've always wanted to do, and that's why I'm doing it. Like, I am tired of not doing something just because
There you go.
I'm afraid, or because
You're
I'm
living
afraid
it.
of what people are going to think, or because
Right.
I feel like I'm not going to do it right, or whatever. And I feel like those
Yeah.
inclinations we have, those
You're
that push
learning
us to
and
try to
yeah.
do something is really our something other than us
It's like
telling us just do it.
right. And kid, like you remember when you were a kid and you think adults just have it figured out, like whatever it is. Like, okay, I have to do that, you know. We're always figuring it out.
Yeah.
No matter what. There's no like adult mindset, right?
Yeah.
You're just always learning. You're always figuring shit out. You're always failing. You're always gonna make mistakes. So yeah.
Yep, and that's the best way to learn, I think. And as long as you are learning, then
Yeah.
you won't be continuously confronted with the same bullshit.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Or you're fine with it and you just don't care and don't grow.
and then it's like the definition of
And you're
insanity.
just a miserable person.
Yeah. Yeah. But we're here. We're committed to growth.
That's a topic for another show.
Yes. Yeah, so with that being said, I think that we should play the song,
You should
Atmosphere.
play a song before the world ends. Yeah,
Yes.
we should.
I mean, and you
Let's
guys
listen
should
to it
listen to it, download it, play it as many times as you can, make human connections.
There you go.
And-
yeah. Read the lyrics. Remember when we used to read lyrics?
Yeah.
And give feedback. We love feedback.
Yeah.
We always love feedback. So.
Yeah, and you know what? You guys are going to love it, so don't worry. Okay, we're going to play it right now. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Fuck yeah.
You feel so small to the universe. We are so strong, just the two of us. When we look up, we may never find it's not enough. When we reach up to the sky, we belong out of this world. So come and walk along into the atmosphere. When you and I collide, where the stars align. Walk along into the atmosphere. You and I collide, where the stars align. Just one look, one glance through the lens can get you shook. No need to pretend like you're alone, and you can't take this on. Where we come from has never been found. We belong out of this world, so come and walk along into the atmosphere. When you and I collide, where the stars align. Walk along into the atmosphere. Let's get up. You stop playing us at your prayers, you feel like no one's there. Rise from the dead, just scream loud enough for me to hear. We belong out of this world, so come and walk along into the atmosphere when you and I collide, where the stars align. Walk along into the atmosphere when you and I collide, into the atmosphere where the stars align, into the atmosphere when you and I collide, into the atmosphere where the stars align, into the atmosphere.
That. That was Atmosphere from her.
You're listening to
Yeah.
Confessions of a Rock and Roll Wifey.
K-
Here with Rhea and
KWFY.
Oh.
Easy.
Sounds like-
Sounds
It's
like-
okay. Queefy? Queefy? Queefy.
That sounded
We were looking for an abbreviation.
Yeah, there you go. We go through the rock and roll there, though. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Confessions of a Rock and Roll Wifey. No, I don't know. That was really funny.
rock and roll.
KYB. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
101 KYB.
Use it. You got it. All right.
Rock Wifey 101.
Yeah. Play it.
The how-to version, volume 1. No, but that was Atmosphere, your
Yeah.
song. And that shit is dope.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love it, buddy.
That's the power ballad so far, I guess, of
Yeah,
of the trio.
love it.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
So,
So you, again, just to reiterate a little bit, you are looking for people for
Yeah.
your
I'm
band.
using your platform as a
That's okay. Use it.
Craigslist.
That's what it's here for. Yes.
I'm a musician.
And if you know anybody, please let them know.
Listen to the songs, catch the vibe. If you know somebody that's like into that kind of style, yeah.
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 Somebody who has a high vibe and a high frequency.
And digs the Depeche Mode.
Yes. Totally. But open to suggestions. You're
Right,
open to
yeah, that's not,
suggestions.
we can, elaborate from there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so just to also reiterate, you have a new song coming out.
Absolutely.
It's called Love,
Love,
comma,
like an infection. You don't
Like
say
an
that. Yeah.
Infection.
Love like an infection. It is, I mean, we're all going to tap into that topic, right, at some point as a songwriter. So this is a little darker, a little more of the, the post-love feelings, I think, that you
Yeah.
get, with no resolve towards the end. It's just, I guess the only resolve is just, growing from knowing what works for you and what doesn't, recognizing it.
Right.
And being able to walk away.
Yeah.
And everybody, I think, can relate to things like that and put their own experiences into it. So hopefully,
Yes.
hopefully.
And that is what art's all about,
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody has their own way of interpreting it and
Right.
what it means to them, what resonates with them, and I think that you're on a good path with
Thank
making
you.
some stuff that resonates with people. So I'm really excited that that you let me go ahead and put this out there, and
Yeah.
that you joined me even though I'm at your house.
We're in the burn run hat.
Yes, I always love saying like, "Welcome to my show," when
Right.
I'm at your house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to Shane's house.
Welcome to my house,
Yes.
where the holy jams occur
Yes.
down the way with all the LED lights.
Yes, the lights in the hallway where all the magic happens.
We're the rough draft of this song, like Infection started, the vocals anyway.
Nice.
Me singing into my phone to get ideas of melodies.
That's great.
You know.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
good.
back supporters.
Right, yeah.
Now, hearing all the new stuff.
All about support, whether it's in person or virtual.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and thank you for supporting me as well.
Hell yeah.
High five, buddy.
Glad to be here.
Yes, and I'm glad to have you on and glad to be here too. All right, well, thank you everybody so much for watching who's on YouTube as well. Go ahead and just stay on. While you're waiting, you can like the video and you can subscribe so that you can see all the new things. Comment, yes, please, and share it.
Share.
Yes.
With all your friends.
Sharing is caring. And thank you so much for listening, everybody who's listening. And Shane, again, thank you very much.
So good to see you.
Oh, love you.
It's been like 3 years since I've actually
It
seen you.
has. It has. You know, we're those type of friends where it's like we can go forever without seeing each other. And it'll be just right back the way it was, exactly. So it's definitely an honor to do this and to just be able to feature your new song on.
I'm glad to have a platform. I mean, to have a platform to premiere before it drops. I feel very.
Hell yeah, and we'll do this again.
Okay.
The next song.
That means I'm gonna have to write another song.
Yeah,
So, okay.
you're gonna have to write lots of them. Okay, awesome. Well, we love you and peace out, brothers and sisters.
Burn run,
Stay
bitches.
happy, keep that frequency high.
That's right.
And yeah, burn run, bitches. See you later.
All right. Is that where we're at?
Thanks again, everyone, for listening. I am about to play Burn Run's new song. Are you ready? You have literally listened to this whole hour of us talking about this. So here it is. Love Like an Infection by Burn Run.
talk about and dream of better days. How did everything fall into place? You are my everything, the reason for my strength. I never thought I would feel this way. Waited too long for a girl like you. You are my ride or die, tried and true. Now that I know you love me too, I break down at the thought of losing you. Been paralyzed since I first met you. I was so afraid I didn't know what to do.